I was actually going to shoot this episode in the office, but it's such a beautiful day out, I thought, well, let's get out. I mean, I think like most business owners who work from home, you just end up in your office for hours on end, not realizing what a great day it is, and sometimes you can get more done outside the office. So we're off to the park. So over the last number of years, my holy cow. So I get a lot of people asking me how to write press releases. My company, we do that kind of stuff, and I guess a lot of people want to be able to do it themselves and not pay for it. So they ask, what's involved? How can I do my own press release? Well, I'm sorta gonna tell you today. First, I want to show you something really cool. First, I want to show you something really cool. I got this in the mail a few days ago, and obviously I've opened it, but I want to show you what's inside. So first off, you got to notice, by the way, if you haven't seen this already, very cool box. Look at all graphically rich with the name of the company and all that stuff. Very cool. Gets my attention. Open up the box. Inside, what do we have here? I took it all apart. Business card of the PR person. Handwritten note letting me know here's some treats for you. And, of course, the most important part, the actual press release. And then they also include some technical information about the product and, of course, lots of samples. Now, this company here, Pure, their claim to fame is that they are a gum not made with sugar, like no sugar, but also no aspartame. It's all kind of like natural stuff, so that's their thing. I want to explain some stuff based on this, but also some things you can do if you really want to do your own press release. So my first piece of advice to you, if you want to do your own press release, would be to not do your own press release. I mean, there's a reason why there are companies that do this. You know, there's public relations experts, people who really know how to do this, but forget that for a minute. I'm going to assume that you are adamant about doing your own press release. You absolutely have decided that this is something you want to take on yourself. So instead of just throwing you out there into the lion's den, I'm going to provide you with whatever information I can to help you succeed, even though it may not be much. Okay, so first off, there's essentially two kinds of press releases. Now, the first one is your traditional press release. If you've ever seen one, it's broken down into paragraphs. Typically, it covers the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. And it literally says that at the beginning of each paragraph: who, what, when, where, and why. And then there's maybe 4 or 5 sentences talking about the product or the service, and then the company, and then what makes the product special, and you know, who created the product, and all this kind of stuff. And it's very factual. A lot of big companies, a lot of financial institutions, they like sending out these kinds of press releases, and they kind of send them out to everyone. And I'll tell you, there was a time when that was the standard. That was the gold standard in press releases, and that's what they look like. Not so much anymore. You know, with social media and just the changing of the times, people don't really, you know, latch on to that kind of stuff anymore. The journalists and editors and all that stuff, they don't get excited for that too much unless it's something really, really radical. Okay, so the other kind of press release is more based on kind of like service journalism, where it's kind of like the one I got from the folks at Pure, where it's actually like a story. In fact, it's almost like an article all by itself. Now, the really cool thing about this is you have to remember that editors and journalists and reporters, they're all really busy. So if you can send them something that's interesting and contains all the information that they would want written out in a way that's readable to the public, and they can just cut and paste it into an existing article or into a brand new article, that makes their life easy. And they're big fans of their lives being made easy, trust me on this. So if you can create something written in story form with quotes and even references if you can, and photos and everything, that's golden, man. That'll put you way ahead of the pack. So the second thing would be to target your audience, all right? There's a lot of companies out there that'll gladly take your money and tell you that if you send them a press release, they will send it out to every publication and every newspaper and blog and everything across the country. And if you're looking for ways to piss off and annoy as many editors and journalists as you can, those are the sites for you. I would strongly recommend using them if you're looking to become like a super annoying person. What I'd recommend you do is to really seek out editors and journalists and reporters who cover things that are relevant to you. So if you're in the food industry, for example, if you own a restaurant or food manufacturing company, seek out those who report on things in the food industry. Also, don't think that people who, or I guess journalists and reporters who cover the general news want to hear from you, because I guarantee you that is the group that least wants to hear from you, unless you've murdered or shot somebody, or you've been murdered or shot. Then you'll have their attention. They want like hardcore news. The third point is to follow up, because I want you to keep in mind, as cool as that package was that I got, that box with the gum and everything else, it's possible that it could land on the right person's desk. It could land at the right time. They could open it, they could see it, and for whatever reason, still don't give a crap. There could be something more pressing, something more interesting. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they put it to the side thinking they'll get back to it, but then forget about it. Any number of reasons. You have to stay on top of it. You got to follow up with them. Write them, call them. Hey, did you get my press release? Do you have any questions? Is there any more information I can provide to you? They'll make it very clear whether they want anything to do with you. Okay, I know I touched on this earlier, but I really want to stress the fact that you should probably not be doing your own public relations campaign. And the reason is simple, because nobody knows you. Yeah, that's right. This is, at the end of the day, it's a relationship thing. And a lot of PR firms, good ones anyway, like really reputable ones that have been around for a while, they know the reporters. They'll call them, they'll email them, and these reporters and editors and journalists will listen to them. They'll return their calls, they'll open the emails, they'll trust them because they have a history of bringing them individuals or companies that are relevant, that are interesting, that are presented in a very clear and concise way. And it's a skill. So if you really want to do your own press release, well, I mean, obviously I can't stop you, but you know, I want you to take some of the advice I've given you. Go online. There's lots of places on there that'll show you how to write a press release. Like I said, try not to do that sort of typical one with the 5 W's. Don't do that. Stay with the one that's written like a story, a lot of quotes, a lot of photos, and target your group. So there you go. I hope that this has been some help for you. If you have any questions or whatnot, of course, post them below. You know I'll answer back. If you want to share, go ahead and do so. And hey, you want to know more about Marc TV episodes as they come on live? Just click subscribe up there, and I'll make it happen. Now, I think it's time for me to get back in the office.